What do you do when the public demands answers and you're under fire? Well, that's the situation that Attorney General Pam Bondi is in right now. And during a recent press event, a reporter asked her a pointed question about whether she'd support releasing credible evidence. Bondi's response: watch for yourself.
Let me take that.
Yeah.
Let me take that first. This today is about fentanyl. This is about a wall of people right outside this room who have died from. I appreciate your question, but this today is about fentanyl overdoses throughout our country and people who have lost loved ones to fentanyl. That's the message that we're here to send today. Nothing about Epstein. I'm not going to talk about Epstein. Go ahead.
You heard her. She said, let me take that first. This today is about fentanyl. This is about a wall of people right outside of this room who have died from. I appreciate your question, but this today is about fentanyl overdoses throughout our country and the people who have lost loved ones to fentanyl. That's the message that we're here to send today. Nothing about Epstein, not going to talk about Epstein. So in this video, I'm going to break down what Pam Bondi got right, what she missed, and how she could have used my SOAR framework, a model that I teach, to lead under pressure, to shift the narrative, and to start to rebuild trust. So let's examine the interaction from a body language and psychological perspective. And keep this in mind. This isn't about party politics. This is about communication, presence, and leadership under fire. So the reporter says, Trump said that he would support you releasing additional credible evidence from the Epstein investigation. Is this something that you're open to do? Notice that Bondi is standing very still while listening to the question until she hears the name Epstein. And then she quickly exhales, shoulders drop, she looks down slightly, and then she smirks as she starts to walk to the podium. At this point, Robert Murphy had stepped in right in front of the podium as if he was getting ready to answer the question when the reporter stopped asking her question. Bondi walks up to the podium. She places her hand on his back as she tells him that she'll take the question first. And that's when he steps aside, moves out of the way. Epstein's name triggered a quadruple nonverbal response. A quick exhale, shoulders drop down. She looks down and smirks. Obviously, this is a high stress name for her. When she gets to the podium, she places her hands on either side of the podium, leans toward and looks at the reporter. When she places both hands on either side of the podium, this allows her to take up more space, which she can send a nonverbal message that she's confident and serious. So when she starts to talk, she double speaks with this. Not only do we have this quadruple nonverbal response that we just talked about, now we hear this verbal disfluency by repeating the same word. This can happen when you're frustrated, flustered, aggravated, because the emotion that you're feeling interrupts your thinking. And it can also give you a quick second or two to buy some time to think about what you're going to say next. Bondi decides to talk about the purpose of the interview, which is fentanyl and the number of people who have died as a result of taking it. And then I think she realizes that she's coming across a little too strong, a little too dismissive. So she interrupts herself to say, hey, I appreciate your question. And then she continues talking about fentanyl and the overdoses. Notice that she looks to her left and points with her thumb as she says, and the people who have lost loved ones to fentanyl. She's actually pointing to people on the stage who are there to share their story about how fentanyl has impacted their families. She ends by being adamant that the conversation about Epstein is closed. She slams her hand down on the podium as a nonverbal exclamation point. But did you notice what she did with her eyes? When she says Epstein, her eyes actually close. This is an eye block. You do this unconsciously when you're talking about or you're hearing something that you don't like. Again, Epstein is this stress button for her. Now, let's talk about how she could have used this moment to start to rebuild trust around this Epstein controversy and still be true to the original purpose of the presser, which was what? The fentanyl. I think part of Bondi's response was that she felt that the question wasn't relevant to the presser, what they were talking about, and that it was disrespectful to go off topic when you have surviving family members on the stage sharing their grief. Now let's talk about how she could have managed this better. And we'll use my SOAR framework on how to handle situations when you've been silenced, sidelined, or shaken. So here's the framework. The S is shift your mindset. The O is to own the moment. A, you want to make sure that your body language and your words are aligned. And the R is to regulate emotions. Now, there could have been a couple of things happening here. Perhaps she could have thought that it wasn't the time or place to have that conversation to talk about Epstein, or she may have felt that the question took away from the people on the stage who were sharing their heartbreak about fentanyl, how it's impacted their families. Or perhaps she wanted to exert control over her previous position on the matter of Epstein. But here's the problem. When people are losing trust in you, you don't double down on your righteousness. You shift the frame. You go from, I'm defending my position or defending my reputation, to, I'm here to rebuild trust. And this is a shift in mindset. And this is what SOAR teaches. The second principle is own. Now, let's talk about how this could have been a powerful moment and why it wasn't. Yep, the event was about fentanyl. And yes, it's fair to stay on message. But when you're being asked about public accountability and your name is linked to Epstein controversy, you just can't dodge it and expect it to go away. Owning the moment doesn't mean answering every single question on the spot. It means acknowledging public concern, standing calmly in the heat, and showing people that you're not afraid to speak the truth, even when it's hard. What did she do instead? She made it sound like asking about Epstein was disrespectful to the families affected by fentanyl. And while that may have been her intent, it landed as a deflection. It landed as anger. Because here's what owning the moment would have sounded like. She could have said something like, I understand why you're asking the question. This is a topic that deserves attention. Today, I'm here with families impacted by fentanyl. I'm committed to transparency, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions at a different time, at an appropriate time. Same boundary, completely different tone, and that's SOAR. The third principle is align. You want to make sure that you align your words and your body language. So let's look at what she said versus what she showed. She said, I appreciate your question, but her nonverbals told a different story. Annoyance, frustration, dismissal, and that mismatch, that's a nonverbal contradiction. And it breaks trust fast. Because when your body says one thing and your words say another, you know what people believe? They believe your body. Bondi shook her head no when she said that she appreciated the question. She interrupted herself to acknowledge that the reporter was even asking a question, which lets us know that the internal emotion got the best of her. Her hand pound on the podium also lets us know that she's very dogmatic, final, and unyielding in her position. All indicating, all saying that she didn't want to deal with the Epstein question at that time. What SOAR teaches is simple. When your message and voice and body language align, you become believable. And when you don't, people see you as evasive. The last SOAR principle is R, which is regulate. Regulate your emotions. Bondi didn't lash out. She didn't shout. She didn't storm off or call the question unfair. That matters. Her tone had a little heat to it, yep. And she was very direct, but she stayed mostly composed. She redirected to what she felt comfortable talking about, and she anchored herself in her original message for that presser, which was fentanyl. That's emotional regulation. Overall, it may not have been elegant, but she wasn't explosive. So why this matters? When someone's under public pressure, the instinct is to get defensive, to over-explain, or to completely shut down. But Bondi didn't spiral. Here's the key. Regulating your emotions isn't just about staying calm, it's also about staying connected. So there you have it. My analysis of Bondi's response, what she missed, what she got right, and what she could do differently next time, because there will be a next time, by using my SOAR framework to start rebuilding trust. SOAR isn't about isn't just about communications. It's also a roadmap. So if you're a leader under fire or a woman trying to lead in high pressure spaces, this is the kind of breakdown you need. I'm Blanca Cobb, a body language expert with a master's degree in psychology, and I teach women how to show up with power, presence, and emotional intelligence in life's hardest moments, because life surely can dish them out. Want more breakdowns like this? Hit subscribe and follow, like this video, and share it. Drop a comment. Let me know what you noticed in Bondi's response. Did it land with you or did it deflect? Let's rise smarter and stronger, and most importantly, let's keep soaring. And I'll see you in the next video.